What's the difference between a flooring company doing 300,000 a year and one doing 1 million? It's not more hours, it's not more trucks, it's not even more leads. It's 6 things that most owners never get right. I'm gonna walk you through all 6 flooring business growth strategies today so you can finally stop grinding and start growing. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why some flooring companies hit 1 million while others stay stuck, the right order to focus on leads, crew, systems, and pricing, and how to grow without burning out or losing the quality your reputation is built on. Let me paint a picture for you. Trying to grow a flooring company by yourself is like trying to row a boat across the ocean alone. You can row as hard as you want, wake up early, stay up late, grind every single day, but one person can only row so fast. And the moment you stop rowing, the boat stops moving. That's what most flooring company owners are doing. They're rowing alone, wondering why they can't go any faster. The companies that hit 1 million didn't just row harder, they built a bigger boat with more people rowing in the same direction. And that's what I'm gonna show you how to do today. But first, let's get real about where most flooring companies actually are. The average flooring company in America does around 230 to 250,000 a year in revenue. But flooring companies that are systematized and structured, they average over 500,000. Same industry, same services, completely different results. Most owners get stuck somewhere between 300 and 500,000. And the difference between them and the $1 million companies isn't that they work harder, it's that they work differently. So why do most flooring companies get stuck? It's something I call the survival spiral. 1 month you're slammed with jobs, barely keeping up, turning people away. The next month, you're wondering where all the customers went. You're constantly juggling between being on the job site and finding time to measure new jobs. Your nights are spent catching up on estimates instead of resting or planning for the future. The hard truth is that most flooring company owners didn't start a business. They created a job for themselves. And your business can only grow to the size of what you can personally handle. If everything depends on you, you've hit your ceiling, and you'll stay there until something changes. Now let's talk about the math, because hitting $1 million isn't as complicated as you might think. The average residential flooring job is around $3,300 to $3,500. To hit 1 million in annual revenue, you need roughly 285 to 300 jobs per year. That's about 24 to 25 jobs a month, or about 6 jobs a week. The question isn't, can you do more work? The question is, can your business handle more work without you doing it all yourself? That's the difference. Before we get into the flooring business growth strategies, let's talk about margins, because this is where a lot of owners are quietly losing money without realizing it. Residential remodel jobs should target 40% gross margin or higher. Industry expectation is somewhere between 38 and 45%. Here's where it gets tricky. A lot of owners confuse markup with margin. They're not the same thing. A 50% markup only gives you 33% margin. If you're pricing jobs using markup and thinking you're hitting 40%, you're not. You're leaving money on the table. Here's a good gut check. If you're booked out for weeks and you still can't pay yourself well, your pricing is broken. Scaling on thin margins is a trap. You just get busier without actually getting wealthier. And that's not the goal. All right, let's get into the 6 things that separate $1 million flooring companies from everyone else. Number 1, get off the tools. You cannot scale your flooring business if you're still on every job. As you grow, you install less and manage more. That's just how it works. The goal is to stop working in the business and start working on the business. Here's a simple rule. If you wouldn't pay someone your hourly rate to do a task, stop doing it yourself. If you charge $150 an hour for your time, but you're spending 5 hours a week on bookkeeping, you're losing money. Someone else can do that for a fraction of the cost. Number 2, hire before you're drowning. Most owners wait until they're completely overwhelmed to hire. By then it's too late. You're desperate. You make bad hires. And those bad hires cost you way more than they save. Instead, hire to remove tasks from your plate before you need to. Start with the stuff that's eating your time but doesn't require your expertise. Admin work, bookkeeping, scheduling, then hire a field crew so you can get off the tools. Eventually, you need a working foreman or project manager, someone who can run jobs without you being there. That's when things really start to open up. Here's the difference. At 300,000, the owner does everything. Estimates, installs, bookkeeping, phones, marketing, all of it. At 1 million, the owner manages the business. The team handles operations. That's the shift you have to make. Number 3, build systems before you scale. Growth without control is a recipe for burnout. What works for a 2-person crew completely falls apart when you're managing 5 or 10 teams. You've got to replace the scattered spreadsheets, sticky notes, and endless phone calls with real systems. Invest in flooring business software, things like Jobber, Qfloors, FloorZap, something that keeps your quotes, leads, and job histories and financials all in one place. Create SOPs, standard operating procedures. These are the documented steps for how things get done in your company. They keep quality consistent as you add crews. They help new hires get up to speed fast, and they let you step back without things falling through the cracks. And systematize your estimating process. If you're not calculating job costs and margins in real time as you quote, you're guessing. And guessing is how you lose money without realizing it. Number 4, fix your pricing. A lot of flooring owners are underpriced and have no idea. They're busy, they're booked out, but they're not making real money. Price by margin, not markup. We already talked about why that matters. If demand for your services exceeds your capacity, that means you have pricing power. Use it. Raising your prices is a normal, healthy part of business growth. Most customers understand if you do it tactfully. Yeah, you might lose a few people, but probably not the ones you actually want to keep. The price-sensitive customers who leave over a small increase were likely costing you way more than they were worth anyway. Here's the mindset shift. Focus on fewer jobs with higher margins rather than more jobs with lower margins. That's how you actually build wealth in this business. Number 5, generate leads consistently. You can't grow if you don't have a predictable way to fill your pipeline. Referrals are great, but they're unreliable. You can't control when they come in. Your marketing spend should be somewhere between 5 to 12% of revenue. If you're focused on growth, lean toward that higher end. $1 million companies don't rely on just one lead source. They have a system. Google Ads, Facebook, SEO, multiple channels working together so they're never dependent on any single one. And here's a stat that should get your attention. 78% of jobs go to the first contractor to respond. Speed to lead matters more than almost anything else in your sales process. Number 6, shift your mindset. The biggest shift you need to make is from doing the work to running the business. Stop being reactive, putting out fires all day. Start being proactive and building for the future. When it comes to delegation, you want to follow the 80-20 rule. If someone else can do it 80% as well as you can, that's good enough. Let them do it. Your role has to change as you grow. You start as a technician, you become a manager, eventually you become the CEO. That's the progression. Now let's talk timeline, because I don't want you thinking this happens overnight. Typical flooring growth rate is 5 to 10% annually. That's the norm. But with proper systems in place, 20 to 30% is aggressive but achievable. At 20% growth, going from 300,000 to 1 million takes roughly 6 to 7 years. At 30%, about 4 to 5 years. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. But with the right systems, it becomes inevitable. And the goal isn't just to build a bigger business, it's to build a better business. One that works for you instead of you working for it. Now there's a flip side to all this. Let me give you some warning signs that you're scaling too fast. If your revenue is up, but your margins are shrinking, that's a red flag. If quality control issues are keeping you up at night, you want to pay attention to that. If your best people are leaving you because things are chaotic, that's also a problem. And if your systems are cracking under the weight of more volume, you need to slow down a bit. And if you're busier than ever, but somehow making less money, you need to fix your pricing. Growth is great, but not at the expense of everything you've built. So now you've got the plan, but here's the thing. None of this works if you don't have leads coming in the door. You can't hire more crew without jobs to keep them busy. You can't raise your prices if you're desperate for work. You can't build systems if you're stuck in survival mode. So if you want to see exactly how to build a lead generation system that keeps your pipeline full, Google, Facebook, SEO, all of it working together, watch this video next where I break down the full system step by step.